Right off the rip, want to make this one a little bit shorter. I think 10 minutes was a little bit long last time for the best audio apps for iPhone. Turns out I found some more. So first up, I've got the voice recorder app by Voz. I'm assuming that means it's by Voz. I don't know. It's got 22,000 ratings on the App Store. I figured I'd give this one a go. This wasn't part of my initial list, but again, short and sweet, so this is what you're getting. So we're actually back on Voz still. I didn't initially see the custom settings, but I found it. We changed it to mono, which I think might help with like the clarity, because stereo, I don't know this for sure. Based on what I was finding last time, stereo might be picking up from both sides of the phone, and so like I guess if I'm talking to it like this, it might be better. So I went for mono just in case what I believe is correct on the iPhone 12, like one of these holes is a microphone, one of them is a speaker. Hopefully that means I can just use one mic and it'll sound clearer than using two and having it kind of picking myself up twice, if that makes sense. It's also set to the highest sample rate as it can go, and I did turn the gain down a little bit just in case it was hot on auto. Next up, this is the Anchor podcast app. I figured I'd give this a try, but I didn't know anything about it. Not sure if you can really customize any settings. If you can, haven't found it yet, but I literally just set up an account, but it's asking your account information before you can even do anything. I don't think this is really the route to go for just filmmakers or YouTubers or anyone who just wants to record audio on their phone. I think this is probably a great tool if you want to start a podcast from your phone. For just recording a simple line of dialogue, I don't think this is it. I'm now on the Smart Recorder app. I actually saw this on a Booth Junkie video he did around the beginning of the pandemic, almost 2 years ago. Whoa. Doesn't really look like it's being updated, so that's kind of a downside. This one has the most customization so far within the settings. So I changed the file type to WAV. It's one of the ones I recognized and wondered if the MPEG Apple default, whatever the uncompressed voice memos files are, whatever they are, they don't like Vegas Pro, which is what I edit in. So maybe that will prevent that from happening. I don't know. But I also bumped up the sampling rate to the highest it can go, 44.1 or something. I believe that was the highest on this app. And then I also changed this to mono as well, just because going with my gut, I think that's the better choice here. Maybe I'm wrong. Not sure. Maybe let's just try stereo and see how it see how it sounds. Okay, now we're on stereo. Do we think this sounds better than mono? To be honest, no clue. We'll find out soon enough, though. On to the next one. This is called the Rode Reporter app. Another actual audio name in one of these apps. And it's kind of nice to see because I just didn't really know this existed. And I saw this on another video. I think about like the Rode Procaster or whatever that podcasting mixer board type thing is that Rode sells. Kind of like the Go XLR. This one looks promising. It's very short. There's really not much to mess with. There's an uncompressed setting, which I am on now, 48 kilohertz sample rate, whatever, and 24-bit wave. And there's a compressed settings, which you can go up to 320 kilobits. Maybe I should get more familiar with these. I just know the numbers. 320, and you can go all the way down to like, I don't know, 128. 320 is the highest. Obviously, you want to stick with the highest. Maybe we'll go to the compressed settings, see how that works. We are back on the Rode app at 320 kilobits per second. You can also turn the gain down here, it seems, which we are in the red, so maybe I can turn that down a bit. Yeah, it should be short and sweet and short and simple. Why do I keep trying to say that and it sounds so weird? All right, we're back in the Dolby app. If you remember from the last video, I declared this one the winner from some of the older apps that I had used and some of the random ones I found in the App Store and voice memos. So we're comparing this one to these new ones, which is good to have options. One, you're probably going to like one over the other for cosmetics, features, whatever. And two, competition is always good. Hopefully one of them gets updated, or all of them, hopefully. So yeah, this is back on Dolby uncompressed, and let's move over to voice memos, get another refresher on that one. I'm sorry I keep messing with my hat. It's annoying, isn't it? We're on voice memos, the classic. Comes with your phone, probably. I'm just going to leave it compressed. One, because give the stock experience. This is how it's going to sound out of the box or out of the phone. Two, it creates more work for me if I'm going to do the lossless setting. For whatever reason, as I mentioned in the last video, it does not like to work with Vegas Pro. It does with DaVinci Resolve. As far as Premiere goes, I'm going to guess that it does go into Premiere. If it goes into Resolve, It's probably just a thing with Vegas being weird because it's kind of janky like that. I'm sure it works for other editors, just doesn't like Vegas for whatever reason. I mean, if you use another editing software, Voice Memos is probably pretty good too. So you might not even have to fuss with any of these. We're gonna listen back to it and see which one is the best. So come to a consensus. I'm gonna have to say that Dolby On is on top still, and a close second is actually the Rode Reporter app. From there, it gets a little fuzzy. Like, I want to say Voice Memos is a solid 3, just because it works and it's easy. If it weren't for, the incompatibility with Vegas Pro, which I use, and I don't really think that many people use it anymore. I think Premiere is starting to be like, it's more normalized for people to pay more for the editing software on YouTube now. Like back in the day, it was like Sony Vegas was so much of a better value. You buy it one time. Well, actually, Premiere was like that too, though. But a lot of people just pirated it. Anyways, I feel like it's dropped in popularity a little bit for YouTubers, but I still see it. Tangent out of the way. I think if it weren't for that, Voice Memos would probably be number 2. Since Rode Reporter doesn't have the compatibility issues, it's going to steal the number 2 spot. Dolby On, I think, is just the best sounding out of all of them. It's also updated. Like, the last update was like 2 months ago. It's recent, okay? It's recent enough to where I think, they'll probably keep up with the app. Rode Reporter is also a recent update, but the reason it doesn't get a higher score than Dolby is I just don't fully trust it. There's a lot of bad reviews on the app, which I think are pretty old. I think they've made improvements, but I don't think it's going to be as good as Dolby. I just really like the Dolby app, I guess. There are some things that you might like about the Rode Reporter app more than Dolby, though. It's a little more simple. It's just one button in the middle, record. You got the gain meter to adjust your levels, and then you have the meter right below that, and you have settings if you want, and it's default to uncompressed, which is also really great. And then library, you just have your recordings, you can export them from there. The Dolby app, there's a little bit more to get lost in. So first of all, there's the Dolby settings that they apply to your recordings, which definitely are not for making videos with. It's for music or something weird. There's some effects there that just don't sound good or natural to my ear. So you want to make sure that's off, and there's like a little bit more to go through, more features to the app. You can live stream with it and stuff. So there's a lot you can actually do. But as far as just recording audio, it's a little bit more complicated. You want to make sure the lossless setting is on, turn that Dolby sound feature off, and then you should be good to go once you got those two things figured out. Voice Memos is very simple, and it works great. If you can put in your editor, it's up there as well. So the other 3 apps I do have some issues with. The first one we went through, Voice Recorder by Vox. It's got ads. Ads are no good, especially when you're like on the crunch. If you're trying to make something and all of a sudden there's apps popping up, possibly interrupting your recordings or just get in the way, it's just not a good experience. They're basically going to be saying, buy me every 2 minutes. Also, the UI is just less than ideal. Not saying it's bad, it just doesn't look very modern or very sleek. Anchor is probably a really great app, but not for what we're doing here. If you want to make podcasts, I'm sure this is a great place to start. From your phone, at least. So in the audio test, I actually had to screen record the podcast from Spotify, which I figured would have possibly a higher playback bitrate than Edge or Chrome. Still didn't sound great, and I also don't think I was recording it very close to my face, so like the gain, the levels weren't that great. I think recording just didn't really do it very good justice, and I couldn't figure out how to save the actual file onto my phone from the app. So probably a great app, but not for what we're doing. Smart Record, courtesy of Booth Junkie. I don't think it has anything to do with the app, but he's how I found the app. Seems pretty good. I don't think it sounds as good as Dolby, but the thing is, it hasn't been updated in over a year, which I just don't like that. I feel like iTalk, the app I mentioned in the previous video, probably just won't get updated, or will take a long time to get updated, and that could just lead to instabilities. If it just doesn't get updated, you're not going to be able to use it in a certain amount of times. Not a reliable option, in my opinion. So comes down to the big 3. Rode is a pretty big name in the audio world. They make a lot of really great microphones. Most of the camera microphones are Rode, the popular ones. So you probably heard a lot of Rode microphones, and you might not know it. Also, they have the pod mic, which is a really great affordable dynamic mic, which I might be getting me some of those soon. And then they have the Rode Procaster, which I think I butchered the name of the mixer earlier. They've got other ones too. So big name there for sure. And then Dolby, of course, as I mentioned in the other one, another big audio name. Those are the best ones that I've found so far on this latest episode of best audio apps for your phone. And these are all free, by the way. Oh, the other thing with Smart Record actually was they do want you to pay for that too. It's not totally obvious, but I did get a pop-up saying buy the full app for full permissions, basically like export over 3 minutes long, you're gonna have to buy it. I think that's a pretty big issue. A large part of this is convenience and not having to pay extra money. So don't want to buy an app unless it's really worth it. And if it hasn't been updated in a year, probably not worth it. My pick is still Dolby On. That's what I'll be using if I ever need it. And voice memos is probably a close second if it's in a pinch. But now that I have all these on my phone, probably just gonna be sticking with Dolby. There's the conclusion there. Thank you for watching. By the way, we've been listening to the MXL 770. Pretty great mic. Only like $80, $70, $80, somewhere in there. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Not very good at these, am I? Okay, let's back off. Get in focus. Jeez. I feel weird recording like this because I'm like trying to record into the microphone and also look at the screen and also kind of show you. So I'm like, yeah, this is the next app. Okay, let's go. I am now on the smart recorder. What is this called? It says I can record in approximately 2 days. What do you mean for 2 days? I don't want to wait 2 days to record. Doesn't make any sense.